Hi everyone, Aiden here at ETrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat NV 2.0 platform style bike rack and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2023 Kia Sorento. This is going to be a platform style rack and one of the nicer ones at that. It's going to hold the bike by the front tire using this wheel hook and have a secondary point of contact at the back tire with a wheel strap. It gets a very strong hold on the bike, very little movement here in the cradle, and it doesn't make any frame contact. So good for our carbon frame bikes and alternative frame bikes. And with a 60-pound weight capacity per bike, it can handle some e-bikes too. Now, this is going to have a lot of really nice premium features like tilting away with the bikes loaded. And compared to some other racks out there, it has a pretty good and aggressive tilt that gets it far away from the Sorento. A lot of these bike racks are sitting very closely to the Sorento based on our testing, so you might run into hatch clearance issues. But in our case, the NV tilts away perfectly far, gives us full access, even with the wider handlebars on our mountain bike here, to get into the back, get anything out that we might need, and even have enough room to sit down, change our shoes before or after our ride, get our helmet on, those sorts of things. It's just nice to know that you don't have to sacrifice that function of your vehicle just because you have a bike rack in the hitch or a bike on the bike rack. And when you're done, you can just lift this up by a solid point like the arm. It'll click back into place and we're ready to rock and roll. At this point though, we can get the bike unloaded. Before I do that, I always like to point out the integrated cable lock that goes into the back of each tray. That's long enough to reach the frames of most bikes or the back tire. And then whenever we're ready to undo this, we can just press this gray button and remove the back wheel strap. Once that's done, we want to do the hook last with one hand on the bike, one hand on the hook, press that button, push up and out. That'll swing all the way out of the way, making sure that we have as much room as possible to just walk the bike away. It's nice because everything opens up fully. We don't have any obstructions when loading or unloading, and it just keeps things easy and straightforward. Also, because the hitch sits a little lower to the ground on the Sorento, we don't have to lift up super high either. The back wheel strap does slide along this half of the tray to accommodate for different wheelbases. And when it's all folded up, we can get some measurements. Starting off with our ground clearance, the lowest point at the back end is going to be 20 inches from the ground. I think more than enough clearance for most situations you might find yourself in with the Sorento. It's a really great rise in the shank, so even though the hitch sits lower, the bike rack does not. And from the bumper, the furthest out point, to the end of the rack, we're sticking out 31 inches. Compared to other racks, that's pretty on par, and it is going to be adding distance, so just keep that in mind as we're driving around. But if you want to leave the rack in the hitch between rides and we don't have bikes on here, we can use that pedal and fold the rack up this time. This will reduce our distance we add by quite a bit, only sticking out 13 inches now. Makes it a lot easier to pull into a parking space this way, maybe even your garage at home, depending on the room you have. And while we're here, we can see a couple things, like it doesn't block our license plate or our backup camera or our taillights. So in the folded state, it's not gonna be an obstruction. That all might change when we have bikes on here loaded up, but in the folded state, it's out of the way. At the bottom, we've got a tool-free anti-rattle knob that tightens this up in the hitch, keeps things rock solid, so you don't have to worry about it shaking around when you're going down the road. It fits in a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube and uses a locking hitch pin to secure through the hitch pin hole. That lock is key-to-like to the cable locks up top, so it's all under a one-key system, and you don't have to worry about your bikes or the rack getting messed with when you're not around. And one nice thing about the NV is the integrated bike repair stand. We can open a lever to raise this up, flip it out, and that gives us a clamp that we can drop our bike frame into, or maybe our seat post, just somewhere to hold onto our bike to do some last minute repairs if we need to. So if you've got a messed up chain or a flat tire while you're out, you can address it and fix it and not have to worry about putting your bike on the ground or flipping it upside down to do so. Just brings it up to you and makes it a little more convenient to work on. If you don't have a need for the bike repair stand, you can always get the NV base. It doesn't come with it, but you can add to it after the fact if you decide you do want it. The NV 2.0 though comes in a gray color or a black, and they have this kind of metallic finish to it, which I think looks really nice. It gives you options to customize it, match it to your vehicle if you want, and overall it's going to be a really solid option. If you're looking for a premium bike rack that has a lot of features and a lot of bike compatibility, but also works well with the Sorento, then I think the Kuat NV 2.0 is going to be a great option for you. Thanks for watching.